all the gory details. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Letting a Wheel Pick My Crafts. Now in the last episode I gave up control.
I'm coming!
And yous were in charge, and yous picked the majority of the stuff that I had to make, and I actually thought it went really successful. So fingers crossed today's going to be another one. But let's find out and see what I'm going to be making and spin that wheel. Oh, I don't think I'm prepared. I don't think I'm emotionally prepared for this. Come on, be nice to us, please. Summer. Okay, summer. It's winter though. We're in winter and now I'm having to make something summery. I think that's what the sun means. Like a summer, spring, craft DIY kind of thing. Okay, well, it's very ambiguous and open, so that's a good start. I'll write that down so I remember.
Baked in a bait. Oh.
What even is a summer, spring craft? I'm thinking something with alcohol.
Of course you are.
Because summer you think of alcohol, don't you? Or is that just me? I don't know. Okay, so I think this wheel is definitely going to dictate what I'm actually making because it's all full of materials. So let's find out what this summer/spring craft thing has to be made out of and spin that wheel. Foam. What the hell? What am I making? Something summery and spring thing out of foam. I'm gonna have to proper think for this one. Ugh. How dare it? Nothing's really, I don't know, lighting anything inside my brain so far. Is anything happening with yous? Are yous, I don't know, is something clicking? Because my brain's empty. My brain's always empty, to be fair.
Hard facts!
Okay, let's find out whether I can use other materials that isn't foam. And I would like yes, just because foam, it's quite difficult to make it not look like foam. But let's find out and spin that wheel. Oh, yeah. Okay, stuff's starting to happen. Not a lot of stuff's happening up here yet, but stuff is starting to, it's like simmering, and that's a bacon term. That's well nice. Yeah.
Yeah, spank me.
And finally we can find out the budget for this foam, spring, summer craft thing that I need to make and spin that wheel. I want top budget because foam can be quite expensive. Oh, no. No! £5. What the hell am I gonna make? I have one tin of expandable foam, but I don't know how much is left in it. And I'm pretty sure a tin of expandable foam is about £5 if I go down that route. I think I might have an idea, but if I make this thing, I don't think it's gonna look very good. Leave me a comment down below right now if you got those options, what you would be making. Don't skip ahead on what I'm gonna be making, because I don't know what I'm gonna be making yet. But let me know in the comments right now, what would you make for a summer spring craft object with foam and a £5 budget, and you can use other materials too, and we'll see if our brains were on the same kind of level. Okay, and I'm finally back, and after a lot of thinking about what this thing can be, my original idea was going to be that I was going to make a bird bath kind of ornament thing, because I think that feels very kind of gardeny, summer, spring kind of thing. But then I had a feeling I wasn't really going to have enough materials in order to make this bird bath. So my next option was to make a pole.
He has no idea what he's doing, does he?
Kind of like a summer maple / wind chime / fairy prop kind of staff thing, if that makes any sense at all. It's not really in a category, it's its own kind of thing, and I feel like I've invented something that doesn't really exist, but I started with wind chime. That was my original idea. So my first step for this random object was to get a piece of bamboo from the studio. I have absolute loads of these for some reason, and I thought this would act as a nice base. Next up, I found this yellow ribbon that I already had in the studio and cut several strands off this ribbon to kind of act as the dangly bit. I then secured each individual piece of this ribbon to the end of one side of the bamboo, just with some hot glue. And at this point, you might be thinking, where's the foam? The whole point of this was to make it out of foam. But here it is. I decided to go for expandable foam, and this is the only thing I bought for this object. This is the only thing I could afford, one measly can of expandable foam. So I'm hoping it's going to go far. So I sprayed the foam onto the surface of the bamboo and gradually started over a couple of days building up layers of expandable foam to really bulk this out. And this is what it was finally looking like once it had fully dry and set. However, you can obviously tell it's foam. It looks like foam, you can tell it's expandable foam, and I wanted to try and hide that the best I could. So first up, I gave this foam a base coat of a white gloss paint that I already had in the studio. And then once that was dry, I decided to sponge on lots of different colours of acrylic paint and try and create this like pastel-y springtime colour theme, which I wasn't really sold on as I was doing it, and I was hoping in the end it was going to be one of those things that actually looked quite good, because I didn't have much confidence as I started to do it. And here's what we've got at the minute. We've got a big piece of coloured foam, which I actually don't think looks too bad. I wanted it to be quite messy and, I don't know, a bit shitty looking, I suppose. But this is it, and then you could obviously stick that in the ground, couldn't you? And then I've got these dangly bits of ribbon. Now I'm thinking, because my original idea for this is for it to be a wind chime, I've got some beads from the studio, I've got some more beads from the studio, and I'm just gonna add a few onto here and hope that works. I also might trim it down a bit. Do you think it's a bit too long? Yeah, I think it needs like a little trim. I'll just give it a little haircut. Now, let's attach some beads. To be fair, considering the options that I got, I think I've actually made something quite interesting. I know it's not fully done yet, but I'm surprised my brain managed to actually come up with anything, to be fair. I am slightly concerned that this isn't actually going to operate as a wind chime, but it might just be like a nice little decorative thing. Like a decorative garden sculpture, maybe that's what it is. I'm making something and I don't actually know what it is.
What is that?
But also, my brain's a little bit all over the place at the moment, so you'll have to excuse us if it kind of shows through in any of my videos or anything like that. I've just been going through a little bit of a rough patch, I'm not gonna lie. So basically, I've been having a few issues with my gut recently. It's been ongoing for about 3 months now. Obviously, I won't go into the like gross details about my gut activities, but you know when your body isn't kind of, it just doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel normal. It hasn't been feeling normal, and it's been, I'm the kind of person who I like to try and let things settle and hope things kind of go away on their own and get better. So I've been just waiting for it to kind of heal itself and fix itself and stuff, and it just hasn't. If anything, it's gotten a little bit worse and a little bit more concerning, to the point where I ended up with the doctors I'm at. You can actually send them an email, like a online form thing, and I just sent my doctor a form thing saying, you know, listen, this is happening to us, these are my symptoms, I've tried this and this and this to kind of fix this problem, but it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And I just basically wanted a little bit of advice. I didn't want to make an appointment and waste kind of a doctor's time or anything like that, or take away an appointment from someone who really needs the appointment. So at least I could just do that, and then if they've got time, they could just kind of message us back. And anyway, he rang us back straight away, to be fair, and I was very thorough when I sent this message off. I told him exactly what had been going on, all the details, all the gory details. And he suggested that I do a sample, which was delightful. So not only did I have to do one sample of shitting in a cup, I had to do a second sample of shitting in a smaller cup, which was really, really difficult. And one of them gets sent to my doctors, and one of them gets sent elsewhere. And it's called like a fit test, so it basically screens and tests your shit for various things found in it. So I did all of that and sent it away and stuff, and that was it. And I was going to ring them up and kind of discuss things and stuff like that. And anyway, I got a text the other day saying that my sample had come back abnormal. So I was like, okay, it's come back abnormal, like what does that mean? So I googled it because I was at work and stuff, I didn't have time to get in touch with the doctors or anything. And apparently if you get an abnormal sample, it means that they found blood or traces of blood in that sample. And obviously if they found traces of blood, you've got some sort of bleeding inside, which isn't really something you want, is it? I basically only found out like the other day, and I've been really busy at work, so I haven't had time to get back in touch with the doctors, but I do need to give them a ring because I need to put in a second sample. So I think they're going to obviously have to retest it to make sure that it wasn't like a one-off thing, even though I don't think it is, because these symptoms have been going on for like 3 months, so I'm pretty sure it's still going to come back abnormal. And because I work in a hospital and I see a lot of patients with a lot of really bad things happening to them, sometimes when they don't even realise that it's happened to them. I've seen a lot of CT scans and a lot of various other things, which is just devastating, basically. So my mind automatically goes to that. It goes to the worst case scenario. So I'm a little bit, not necessarily in my feelings, but I'm a little bit on edge and not particularly with it at the moment. So if any of that comes through in any of my videos at the moment, then I can only apologise, but I'm just trying to... I don't really know where my head's at. That's basically what I'm trying to say. My head's just not here anymore. And the reason I'm talking about it as well is because I know I talk about a lot of stuff and I'm very much an open book. And the reason I talk about it is I find talking to my camera and stuff almost a form of therapy. Like, it can't talk back to us. It can't tell us everything's going to be fine and tell us all this other shit that I just don't want to hear. I can just kind of vent. And that really helps us. Helps us with a lot of things. And secondly, I talk about it and say stuff like this. And say like the nitty gritty, like put a shit sample in, I was raking around my turds and stuff. I say that because I think a lot of people get really kind of embarrassed and almost feel some sort of shame when they have to go through certain tests and stuff that makes them feel quite vulnerable and all these other things. And basically we're all the same. We all go through certain things. We all have to shit in a tube, piss in a bottle, have our private parts like not played with, but like examined and stuff, things up our asses. You have your boobs squidged down in them horrible machines. You've got what they call smear tests and everything. There's a lot of not very comfortable, not very nice things to talk about. But they're so important to do. So the whole point of this, there is a point to all of this. There's a point to the madness. The whole point of this is if there is anything abnormal with you or you feel that something's not quite right, make sure to go to the doctors, get tests done and get stuff sorted, because some things, if you leave them too late, it can be really, really bad. That's all I'm going to say. Get checked out, make sure your health is top priority. If you're overdue a mammogram test or a smear test or a prostate exam or anything like that, or like a fit poo test where you have to shit in a bottle, get it done. This is me telling you to get it done.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what's happening with me at the moment. It might not be bad, it might not be terrible. My mind might just be racing and going to the worst case scenario, but I don't know, I'm not a very lucky person, so I'm just fearing the worst. Like my theory, putting on my doctor's hat about obviously my gut situation, I'm thinking it's some sort of like viral infection, some sort of potential, not necessarily obstruction, but some sort of maybe like swelling or inflammation or something. Obviously there's the word cancer, which is one that I've been thinking about a lot. And then also another one I'm thinking about is potentially, because I'm intolerant to gluten, it might be something to do with that my kind of gluten intolerance has turned into celiac disease or something, or it's more severe than I thought it was. I don't know, but it's pointless guessing because I'll worry myself to death, so I'm trying not to think about it. But yes, if I seem a little bit off at the moment, that's why. Anyway, let's finish adding our gorgeous beads to this weird looking object, and hopefully I'll be happy with that. And before anyone asks, no, I'm not going to be making a vlog of me doing my next stool sample of shitting in a cup and raking round in it to provide them with a sample. It's just not happening. I don't think anyone needs that amount of graphic detail. Because you should see the state of the tubes they give you as well. The tubes are like that big. You can't shit in a tube that big, and they don't give you a container to shit into. So I had to use a plastic cup, like a disposable one. I wasn't going to use a reusable one. So that was fun. And I'm not a particularly flexible person, so like bending and trying to aim and all of that kind of stuff. It was a challenge, but I managed. And that is all I'm saying about it.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, I think I finally finished attaching them beads, so let's have a look. What was that?
What is that?
Something fell off it, I don't know what. That's quite nice, that's actually... Let's listen to it, hang on. I think that might actually make like a nice little kind of, oh, what's that word I'm thinking of? It's not like a kinetic sculpture, but like something that makes sound. Not necessarily a wind chime. I think it is kinetic. No, kinetic means moving. I'm thinking of a word, and I don't know what that word is. It's somewhere in there. That's the word I'm thinking of. If you've thought of the word I'm thinking of, fantastic, because I can't think of it. And then also, if you took it out of the ground, this could be like a, I don't know, like a cosplay weapon, I don't know, like a fairy sword or something, just something fun and different. I've made something very weird today. I don't understand what it actually is. This is what happens when you give us foam and a £5 budget. This is what I end up with, a stick with some beads on the end. Now am I going to go out and put this in my garden so I can admire it at all times? No, I'm not, because I think it's pretty ugly, to be fair. I don't know whether it's the kind of thing that's really ugly, it's kind of nice, or whether it's really ugly, it's just ugly. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like it or do you not like it? I can't quite tell if I'm a fan or not. But anyway, that just about does it for today's episode of Letting a Wheel Pick My Crafts. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you on Friday for the continuation of December double uploads. And I think on Friday, it's quite a fashionable-y video. Yeah, I think so. I think it's something to do with fashion. I don't know where my head's at. I could be making food for all I know.